Multi-cloud architecture. It's the strategy everyone talks about, right? It promises the best of everything, all the flexibility, zero vendor lock-in, and just pure, unbreakable resilience. But what if that big promise is actually a trap? See, way too often, what starts out as a brilliant strategic move ends up as a costly, super complicated failure. Today, we're going to dig into why that happens, and more importantly, how you can architect it the right way, right from the start.
So let's just cut right to the chase with a tough question every single tech leader really needs to ask themselves. Is your multi-cloud setup a deliberate, well-architected strategy, or did it just kind of happen? An acquisition over here, one team that just really loves a certain provider over there. Because the answer to that question is literally the difference between success and a very, very expensive headache.
Okay, so before we go any further, let's get on the same page about what we even mean by multi-cloud. It's not just about, say, using both AWS and Azure for different things. The key is weaving them together into a single, heterogeneous architecture. And right there, in that one little phrase, that integration, that's where all the real complexity, and frankly, all the danger really begins. Which brings us directly to our first huge pitfall, the complexity trap. Honestly, this is probably the single biggest reason that so many well-intentioned multi-cloud plans just go completely off the rails. And it all starts with one simple and totally wrong assumption. That assumption on the left, it seems so reasonable, doesn't it? I mean, they all have virtual machines, they all have storage, they all have databases. How different can they really be? Well, that's kind of like saying all cars are the same, because they have four wheels and an engine. The reality is, each cloud has its own totally unique security model, its own set of proprietary tools, and, this is a big one, its own incredibly complex cost structure. Thinking they're interchangeable is the first step right into that trap. And wow, this quote from a project lead just says it all, doesn't it? This is the painful result of that flawed thinking. They went in looking for flexibility, but what they got was triple the overhead. Think about that. 3 separate teams of super expensive experts, 3 different sets of software licenses to manage, 3 totally distinct operational headaches. That is not a strategy, that's just a multiplier for all your problems. So how in the world do you escape this trap? Well, the answer is right there on the right. Instead of treating clouds like they're just commodities, you have to abstract their differences. Think of it like a universal adapter for all your developers. You build a common platform layer, a consistent set of tools and processes that sits on top of all your different clouds. This gives your teams one single, predictable way to work, no matter what kind of unique chaos is happening underneath. All right, pitfall number 2. This one hits you right in the wallet. We call it the costly echo, and for good reason, because you end up building and paying for the exact same things over and over and over again. Now, on the surface, this assumption makes sense, right? A new cloud environment, well, it's got to have its own core services. You need identity management, you need logging, you need security tools. But here's the thing. The reality is, duplicating these foundational services across every single cloud is just a massive drain on your money and your people. You're not just paying more, you're creating these little isolated islands of information that can't even talk to each other. And this quote just brilliantly illustrates the danger. This poor IT director wasn't just dealing with a bloated budget. The real nightmare was the security risk. I mean, think about it. When your identity service in one cloud doesn't talk to the one in another, how can you be 100% sure that an employee who just left the company has been deprovisioned everywhere? You can't. That's a disaster just waiting to happen. The strategic move here is actually simple, but it is so powerful. Stop replicating and start centralizing. Instead of building out separate identity services in each cloud, you use a single, best-in-class identity provider that serves all of your environments. This doesn't just slash your costs, it creates a single source of truth, which dramatically improves your security posture and simplifies management like over. And finally, our third pitfall. This is the one that really sneaks up on you. We call it the operations blind spot. You've built your apps, you've deployed them, everything seems to be humming along just fine, until something breaks and you suddenly realize you have no idea what's actually happening. You can't see it. Oh man, this is such a common and dangerous mistake. Leadership so often assumes that adding another cloud is just a small little incremental task for the ops team. It's not at all. Every single cloud provider has its own unique monitoring tools, its own APIs, its own special language for telling you what's wrong. You're basically asking your team to fly a brand new type of airplane completely blind without any of the right instruments in the cockpit. And just listen to the terror in this quote from an operations manager. Dangerous blind spots. That phrase should send a chill down your spine. Imagine your main customer-facing service is down, but half your monitoring tools are showing green because they can only see their own little piece of the puzzle. You're just burning precious time trying to figure out where the problem is instead of actually fixing it. The solution is to build a unified operational plane, what we in the industry often call a single pane of glass. The goal is to invest in tools that can pull in data from all your different cloud environments and show it to you in one consolidated dashboard. This single view completely eliminates those blind spots and gives your team the cross-cloud visibility they so desperately need to manage the entire system as one single, coherent thing, not just a bunch of disconnected parts. So, we've looked at the 3 major pitfalls, the big ways this can all go wrong. Now let's pull it all together. Because avoiding these traps isn't about little technical fixes here and there, it's about making a fundamental shift from a collection of tactics to a single, unified strategy. So, the playbook for a really successful multi-cloud strategy boils down to these 3 key actions. Number 1, abstract. Build that common platform to hide the underlying complexity from your developers. Number 2, centralize. Stop wastefully duplicating your core services and consolidate them. And number 3, unify. Create that single pane of glass for your operations team so they can finally see and manage everything. This is how you transform a chaotic multi-cloud mess into a true strategic asset. So I'll leave you with this one final thought to chew on. Your clouds are already connected. The technology is there, it's working. The real question you need to go back and answer is your strategy? Thanks for digging into this with me.